This is the end of the video that I'm putting at the start. I've just gone back through my footage, and for some reason at some points my camera's decided that it wants to film in portrait mode rather than landscape. There's nothing I can do about that in the editing, I don't think. So I'm just going to leave it as it is, but it does go narrow, probably at the most important bits, but yeah, just apologise for that. Alright, back with another video. As you can see, I'm not in the Cabriolet. I am in my partner's Mark 6. Used to be mine. I passed on. The light's gone off the dash. Right. The reason we're in the car, because I've just literally pulled around the corner and the lights have gone off. So it's obviously an intermittent fault. She had the ABS light and the traction light on. So if I turn traction on now, oh no, it's different, not that traction light. That button's now stuck. The two up here, it will be stored on Carista, so we'll go in and we'll do a diagnosis first. It's just why has that gone on? Yeah, it's an intermittent fault, which I'll get onto in just a moment. Right, so we come down here, you can see ABS, power steering. So yeah, it's the steering light and the ABS light that are on. So we've got a fault in the ABS system. Left rear wheel speed sensor. Zoom in, focus even. So passenger side in UK car, passenger side rear, there's an issue with it's saying the sensor, but I'm suspecting that it's the ABS pickup ring. So we will reset that. Is it going to reset? So yeah, it's reset, and the power steering fault, ABS control module, we'll reset that. Right, I'm just going to go on to live data. Just pause this moment while it loads up. So live data, here we have wheel speed live data. We'll open that up, lights are flashing on the dash. Right, so they all at the moment are saying, these will all read the same, because like I say, I suspect if I start moving forwards, oh no. So there is no signal being sent. Rear left is staying on 0, and the lights are now back on the dash. So there's a fault back there somewhere. So what is my plan of action? My plan of action is tomorrow morning I am going to my local independent motor factors. I go to them for several reasons. One, if the part's faulty, they're just down the road, so I can change it. Two, they will give me the correct part. There are two sizes of wheel bearings for Volkswagen Golfs. You've got 30mm and 32mm. If you go on the likes of Eurocar Parts, Autodoc, they will give you a list of the different makes and the different sizes, but they won't tell you specifically which one is for your car. Now I know that this is 30mm on this. 32mm are for R's, 4Motions. There's another one as well, but you always want to check. So I always use a local independent, and they're cheaper than Eurocar Parts, things like that. So tomorrow morning I will be going to get a new wheel bearing, and I am going to replace the sensor as well, but I have my suspicions that it is the wheel bearing. The ABS pickup ring is rusted out on it. Obviously this is what, 13-year-old car, never been changed. So back in a moment, back tomorrow for me. Right, okay, back on with the video. I've now finished work and I have been and picked up a new wheel bearing and a new sensor. So we have got APEC and APEC. So in the bag we have new bolt, new cap, new bearing, And then we have a new sensor, which is in that bag there. Now, I suspect that my sensor is fine. I think it's the pickup ring has rusted out on the back, but I'm going to change the sensor at the same time because the bolt that you put the bearing on with is a stretch bolt and it's single use. So while you're doing the bearing, you might as well change the sensor at the same time. It just makes sense. So I'm going to go home and have some lunch, and then I'll get back to you once we've got the car in the air and start doing the work. Right, let's get started with this. So, tools you will need. 5mm Allen key to take off the brake caliper. M18 multi-spline, locking wheel nuts, breaker bar, anything else we need as we go along, I'll let you know. First of all, we've got to take the wheel off, so jack it up, wheel off, centre cap out, take the cap off the inside of the hub, put the wheel back on the ground to undo it. Right, so once you've got that done with the breaker bar, so it's loose enough to do by hand, jack it back up, wheel back off. So then we can progress with taking this sensor bolt out. It's 120 Newton meters from factory, and it's going to be a bit stiff. Once this is out, take this out, release the brake caliper, and then everything will be free. 213mm on the back of here to release the brake caliper. I'll get back to you once we're stripped down. Alright, so that's the brake caliper out of the way, and this is all loose. Probably should have taken the disc off before undoing this, but we'll just do it all together so we can knock it out afterwards. So yeah, let's continue taking this off. See, these are stretch bolts, so you can't really use them. And that's out. Looks almost brand new. And then this will all just pop out, which I need 2 hands for. Right, I had to put the bolt back in to get the brake disc off. This is a mess, it's rusty. But this here is probably causing my issue, actually. Just a load of crap built up. I know what that's from. That's rubber off the tyres. If you look at this tyre, it's worn on the inside because I changed the rear arms at some point and didn't get the alignment done. I'm still going to change this anyway. So let's get this bolt back undone and slide it off. So yeah, as I suspected, this is what's causing the fault. There is just such a build-up of gunk on the back of this that it's stopping the signal get through. There's probably absolutely nothing wrong with that, to be honest, but I'm going to replace it anyway. And then we've got the sensor just here. That's that stub all cleaned up. Now obviously I'm here, might as well change this sensor as well. I don't think it's probably okay, but I've got the parts, so I'm going to do it. So you're not going to be able to see, but down the back of here is a 5mm Allen key holding this in place and a plug, so we need to get that out and get it replaced. Right, so that's the sensor out. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with it at all. Obviously when you are getting your nut out, it's 5mm Allen key. Make sure you've got it completely in there, because if that rounds off then you're a bit screwed. Right, now I need to get the new sensor back in. Might need to clean the back up a little bit because it's all a bit rusty and crusty around there, so we'll get that back in place. Right, so that's the new sensor back in place. See, down the back of that. So we'll plug that back in now while we remember. Should hear a nice satisfying click, which I probably need 2 hands for. And then we get the wheel bearing on. job. Right, so that's all back on. Got the sensor back in, new hub on. Torque settings 180 Newton meters plus 180 degrees. To get 180 degrees is an absolute nightmare, but I will give it a go. I'm gonna have to mark the, well, I can see the number there, so I need to get that around the other side, but it's very difficult. That's going no tighter. We've got about 10 degrees, but it's 180 Newton meters plus a little bit. It's still bloody tight. So now it's just a reverse. Break this back on, brake pads in, put it all back together. Put the cap on. Put the cap on now, which again, you line it up and you have to knock it on with a hammer. So that can go back on there. So get it all built back up and back together. Where is that T5? Where's my T30 gone? T30. It's not sitting square. It's better. The other one. Which isn't lined up. Still not lined up. It's better. Right, back on the ground, all back together. Taking me 45 minutes approximately. So tools required for the job. Obviously you need breaker bar, 17mm for your wheel nuts. No. H5, 5mm Allen key. T30. What else did we use? Wire brush. 13mm spanner for the brake calipers. Yeah, that's about it. I think really, in reality, I probably could have got away with just cleaning this up because there is so much crap on it. That's what's causing the issue with the ABS sensor not picking up. So I probably didn't need to replace this. I didn't need to replace that, but I have replaced them just because. But yeah, it's just, there's so much, I don't know, it's just 13 years of build-up of crap. That's not worn down really. A little bit, but not a lot. So I think the issue was just the amount of muck on here where the air gap's there. It's just blocked it all up, so it's not picking up the magnetic pulse. Right, back in the car, just taking it for a drive just to check that everything's okay. No lights on the dash. This is obviously showing stored ABS fault here, so we will clear that. Power steering, reset that, ignore the rest. Live data, just pause while that loads up. Right, so back to wheel speed. Load it up. Sorry, the sunlight is shining on it, but first gear. Forward we go, and they should all be reading about the same, which they are. Well, we've got a bit of rubbing at the back. I think where I put the brake pads back on are rubbing. Yeah, so that's the job done. Wheel speeds are all reading the same. Like I said, I don't think I probably needed to change it because it was just full of crap. But yeah, who knows what video will be next. Like, subscribe, share. See you all in the next one.